Hi fellow Webflowers, welcome to part 12 of this multi-step tutorial where I'm going to show you how to build this website. So in the last video we have built together the FAQ section, and in this video we are going to build together the footer. So without further ado, let's get into it. And in case this is the first video you are watching, you find the link to the playlist in the description. So let's start with a look into the design. We can see here the footer that we just have a logo and this little illustration here on the left. And here we actually have some link lists, and here another little illustration in the back. We will cover 12 columns, and the entire footer is meant to be sticky. So let's go to Webflow and build it. One thing to mention, all the content we have here is actually in the main wrap, and actually the navigation could go outside here. Let me just check something. Yes, it's actually okay. And this main, yeah, it has the tag main. That is what I was looking for. And if I'm going to add the footer now, I'm going to add the footer outside the main, because we have actually here the header, the main, and the footer. And let's add a section and call this one footer. And if I go here to the settings, I can choose a tag here, and I can choose footer here, just to give it some semantic HTML for the SEO. The same I can do here. Nav, and yeah, this was already set to main, so we are good to go. So next thing that we need in order to get sticky is a div that we call footer spacer. And I'm going to give this div a height of 100 viewport height. And the footer itself, we give a minus margin of 100 viewport height. And now it comes the actual footer. This will be the footer wrap. And this one, it becomes sticky, and it should be sticky to the bottom. So I choose 0 pixels here. And now if we add a container, or at first we add some padding, TB 128, like we used in the entire project. And now we need a container. We go with 12 columns, so I choose this class, and the next one is a footer inner, and the footer inner I set to flex, and then another div that I'm going to call footer left. The footer left will contain the logo and this illustration. And another div that I'm going to call footer right, and footer right will contain here this linked lists. The footer inner is already set to flexbox. I'm going to set it, align it to center, and justify it with space between. So now our footer left is on the left and footer right is on the right. And as you can see, it's already sticky. It already works. So I'm adding an image for the logo, or actually I can just copy the logo from up here. Delete that one. That's it. Then I go to the design and copy this vector file, copy as an SVG. And I go back to my footer left and put it to position relative, add an embed, add the SVG code, delete the width and height here, because I want to set the width and height here in Webflow. Because if it's hard coded in the SVG code and you make changes here, they don't apply. So you need to delete them. I'm going to call this footer arrow, and I give it just some, let's try 20 EM, something like this. And we have to position it absolute. If we look at the design, it goes outside of the viewport a little bit. Let's place it somewhere here. And minus 12 EM. Minus 10 EM. That was too much. So yeah, something like this. And just to be sure that I don't get a horizontal scroll, I go to the footer and that doesn't work. I just wanted to give the footer an overflow hidden, but if I do this, the sticky of the footer wrap doesn't work anymore. So I have to get rid of that. I go to the footer wrap and I give it an overflow here. And now my sticky works again. That's fine. So now I go to footer right. And I actually add a grid here. And I just give it the class of footer grid. So here we go. I have to go back to footer inner and align it to the top. So, okay, because if I look at the design, the link list and the logo, they should be aligned top. So here we go with our footer grid. I give it a width of 100%. So next thing that I do is I give here some gap. I will give it a gap of columns, I give a gap of 4 EM, and the rows I start with a gap of 3 EMs. Let's see what happens. Then in there we use another div and we call it footer list, and we need these headlines here. They are font size 20. I think I have a headline size for that. Let's go with a heading. We can give this a heading of, we can make this an H3 and we can try on H4 here. Way too big. H5. Yeah, H5 has 1.25 RAM, what matches 20 pixels. And we give it the class is text light blue, so it turns into blue. Should. Yeah, it is. Okay. And the first headline was just milestone. Oops. Like this. And then we need a text link. Can leave it like this. First one was about culture and blog. What is the font size? 18. So actually we can go with is TXT medium. That should work. Here we go. You can see it, sticky works. About culture. There's a space. Our enter and block. Okay, I'm selecting my footer list and make it display flex vertical. align left and give it some row spacing of 1.5 EM. A little bit too much. 1, yeah, 1 is good. And now I'm duplicating this footer list. So here we are. And the last thing that is missing is actually our moon in the background. So let's get back to the design. Select it, right click on it and copy as SVG. Back into Webflow, I'm going to select my footer right and position it relative and then place an embed. I'm going to paste my SVG code here, delete the width and height again. The width we had in the SVG was 356 pixels divided by 16 EM, makes 22.25 EM. I'm going to rename the class to footer moon and put it to position absolute. Set it to this, and now it is exactly above our content. Yeah, if I give it a Z index of minus, it gets behind the list. And actually, yeah, that's it. Looks already pretty great. Let's make it responsive. So it looks good on tablet also. Yeah, looks also. Have to change the position of the arrow a little bit like this. But now I can see I get some, actually get here some overflow from somewhere. No, the overflow comes from here, but if I delete this, I will check later where this overflow comes from. But for now, let's take care about our footer. And I think we can turn down the opacity of that a little bit, like this maybe, so it's not so much in the way of the content. And yeah, for mobile, we have to, for mobile portrait, we have to change the layout a little bit. I'm going to select my footer inner and change it to vertical and give it here a little bit more row spacing, something like, I don't know, 3 EM. And actually here, I think we can select the footer moon and hide it. It's too much. And just select our footer arrow and turn down the opacity even more to something like this. And also places like here. And yeah, that's it. It's also okay. Great. Let's go into preview mode. So actually that wraps it up. We made the entire website. There's just one thing missing, and this will be the last video for this multi-part tutorial. The last video will be that we will make some nice animation for all the headlines. So stay tuned for the last video, and as always, thanks for watching and stay in the flow.